Hi, let's start today with a riddle. There was a bear who started in point A, went 1 kilometer to the south, then turned right, 90 degrees to the right, went 1 kilometer to the west, then turned 90 degrees right again, and went 1 kilometer to the north. And he ended up in the same place, in the spot A where he started from. And the question is, what color was the bear? The answer I'll give you after a short break. So this sounds like a stupid question. What does the color of the bear has to do with this situation? It does. It does a lot. And the solution of the question of the riddle is this situation could only happen in the North Pole. In any other place in the world, you will end up in a when you went this itinerary, this route, you will end up in a spot more or less 1 kilometer away from where you started. Only when you started in the North Pole and did this route, you would end up in the same spot in the North Pole. So the answer to this question is the color of the bear is, of course, white. It was a polar bear, as you can see on this road sign behind me, and this sign says no trespassing. Behind this sign there will be polar bears hunting on you. It's very dangerous. It's forbidden for pedestrians to walk past that sign if you don't have any protection, if you don't carry a gun. Then you just don't go behind that sign if you don't want to become a victim of a deadly bear attack, which happened a lot. Welcome today from Spitsbergen, from the archipelago of Svalbard, from the town of Longyearbyen, the most northern city in the world. This is the most exotic city I have visited. Of course, I have visited Antarctica 15 years ago, but there is no civilization in the Antarctica. There are only polar stations. But here, this is part of a civilization. This is a town. This is a city that is a Norwegian city. And Spitsbergen officially belongs to Norway, although it has a special status. But this is the most, let's say, far away, a part of civilization that is most far away from the rest of the world. It is 1,300 kilometers away from the North Pole at the longitude of 78 degrees. And today we'll be talking about the power of the capitalism and what it has to do with this very special town. As I said before, Longyearbyen, this town on Spitsbergen, on the island of Spitsbergen, is the most northern town in the world. This is also the most further to any civilization town in the world. The island of Spitsbergen is covered with ice for the most time of the year, and they have for 2 months an absolute darkness, a night. There is no sun to be seen for 2 months, so it's the polar night for 2 months. But on the other hand, they have 4 months of day, the polar summer. They have the sun doesn't set for 4 months, and it just goes around the horizon for 4 months. It doesn't rise in the east. It doesn't set in the west. It just goes around clockwise around the horizon, more or less above the horizon. And guess what? What time it is now? It is midnight. It is midnight, but it's a complete day. It doesn't get any darker. This is the darkest you can get, and which means it is practically a normal day, right? You see how high the sun is? It's like 30 degrees, 25 degrees above the horizon. It doesn't go any more down. This is the lowest that the sun stays or stands. And of course, during the day, it's during the in the evening, in the midday, afternoon, it stands higher than now. These are adverse conditions, right? The average temperature here is above the year is like maybe 5 degrees. Today is the middle, or maybe around zero. I don't. Anyhow, it's a low temperature. Today is 29th of January, so it's the middle of summer day, and it is 8 degrees Celsius today. 8 degrees Celsius means very warm day here in Longyearbyen. But normally it is much lower, and I guess most of the year it's below zero, so it's frozen, and there is permafrost like 2 or 3 meters below the surface. You have ice all the time, and also 60% of the island is covered with ice all the time, with glaciers all the time, 60% of the island. And the rest, you get some very little vegetations, maybe small grass, not even grass anywhere, and for sure there is no trees whatsoever on Spitsbergen. You get only mosses. You can see it here in the mountains, and from time to time you could get some bushes of grass, but not very much. But you are about to talk about capitalism, and what does it have to do with Longyearbyen, what does it have to do with Spitsbergen? Capitalism is a force of nature. It is as powerful as nature is. Whenever it finds any, let's say, nutrition, any nutrients, it will grow, it will develop. It will find its way to bring wealth to this region. Like the nature, the fauna, the animal world finds its way to persist and to thrive even in these adverse conditions. So the free market finds its way. For the nature, it is different animals. Of course, they are, let's start with the sea animals. They are seals, they are whales, they are, of course, different, a lot of fish and krill and shrimps and so on. Then as for the birds, you have the goose, you have the ducks, you have the puffins. But of course there are also mammals, like of course the whales are mammals, but the land mammals like the polar fox, the polar bear. You have also the reindeers here. So there is a lot of nature, there are a lot of animals, and they thrive in these adverse conditions. They develop, and the same is with capitalism. And what is the nutrition for market, for capitalism? Of course, it's resources. It's some capital in the ground, or the land, or the soil, or the a potential, an economic potential. And in the case of Spitsbergen, this potential was coal. When coal was discovered, until then, of course, there were no permanent towns, there were no permanent bases here in Spitsbergen. There were some hunters coming here from time to time. They were hunting, of course, for whales, they were hunting for polar bears, they were hunting for seals, but there were no permanent settlements until coal was discovered, and then some mines were developed here in Spitsbergen in different locations. And of course, for the mines you needed labor, and the people working in the mines, they were staying, of course. They needed housing, and they needed some, infrastructure and so on. So since then there are several settlements, but this one, the Longyearbyen, is the largest one. And how did it come about? It came about from the American industrialist Mr. Longyear, who bought a minor mine here and developed it to a major mine, and of course built an entire town. He founded this town. Longyearbyen means in Norwegian generally the settlement of Longyear settlement. It was a pure company town for the company people, with all the infrastructure they needed. I mean, at the beginning, of course, minimal infrastructure, but with time it developed more and more. Meanwhile, of course, coal is discontinued here because Norway follows in the steps of European Union and produces and undergoes generally energetic transformation into renewable energies, and doesn't want to use coal or to dig for coal anymore. They use only oil at the moment for energy production here in Longyearbyen. But what I wanted to tell you is the capitalism developed the entire infrastructure in such a little town of 2,000 people. So there is a harbor, there is an airport, there is fastened streets, asphalt streets in the town. Of course, there is nowhere to go outside the town, so there is no streets outside the town. There are some maybe tracks and so on. But in the town there is, of course, asphalt streets. There is electricity. There is heating. You see the around me the buildings, the settlements. They are like 1 story, 2 stories, up to 4 stories. What I can see, buildings, and people living here. They have everything you can think of. They have a library, which is the most northern library. They have a supermarket. There are cafes, there are restaurants here, there are hotels here. There is a sports center here, like fitness club. There is a swimming pool here, indoor swimming pool. There is, of course, fast internet. There is a cinema. There is a culture center. There are galleries. There are 2 museums. Everything you can imagine, you can find here. There is also a fuel station, and everything I named is the most northern in the world, the most northern fuel station in the world, the most northern airport with regular flights, with commercial flights in the world, the most northern museum in the world, the most northern library in the world, the most northern cafe in the world, and so on and so on. And the interesting thing is nobody needs to take any heroic actions to provide for all of that. This is the invisible hand of free market that provides for everything that gets into the farthest edges of this civilization. Here to Longyearbyen, here to Spitsbergen, far, far away from any other civilization in these adverse conditions. Even without possibility for a ship to come here in winter, there is a full supply of foods. When you go to a supermarket, you get the full variety of foods, of ingredients, of everything, like you get in a major European city. This is amazing. I haven't expected such a developed civilization so far away from any other civilization, for any other population. Also, everything is prepared for the winter, for the polar winter, where there is, extreme temperatures and a lot of snow. So they have here more snowmobiles. You can see them here, parked here. They have more snowmobiles than cars anyway, but they even have more snowmobiles than people. And by the way, the population of polar bears is larger here than the population of people. And they are also prepared for encounters with polar bears. So there is also a shop with guns. So if you go outside the town, you carry a gun with you, and when you enter, any institution here, any coffee place, restaurant, or shop, or office, there is a sign, no guns allowed inside, and so on and so on. So they are prepared for everything here, and this is just amazing. The invisible hand of free market provides for all of that. Nobody needs to undertake any heroic actions, any feats of any impossible feats to make it possible. And let us appreciate it. I wonder, what are your thoughts about it? Have you been to faraway places like this, far away from any civilization? And how did they function? How did capitalism go into this edge of civilizatory existence? Let's share some thoughts, let's discuss this topic. That's it from Spitsbergen. I hope you like this video. If yes, give me a thumb up. If not, thumb down. Subscribe if you haven't. Share this video with your loved ones, with your friends. One day they will thank you for that. I talk here a lot about doing great, impossible things in your life and business, about how the best entrepreneurs in our lives, in our world, think and act, how the self-made billionaires of our times think and act. I talk also about economy, about money, about cryptocurrencies. So if you like this video, you will certainly like my other videos. I invite you to watch them. That's it for today. Let's do something extraordinary today.